All right, let's switch gears here. Let's go to the MLB power rankings time. Number 30, the White Sox. They've been pretty much last place the entire season. The only thing left is, can they break the all-time loss record? I think they can. 35 and 115. Marlins dropped to 29. Rockies up to 28. They switch places. Doesn't really matter. The Angels have been eliminated. So have the A's and the Nationals, and they stay the same. The Texas Rangers fall 3 spots. They're 4-6. Their last 10, they just lost 3 straight to the Mariners, 71 and 79. They will be eliminated soon. Pittsburgh at 23. They stay at 23, 6-4 in their last 10. And then the Giants, they drop 2 more spots. They are officially out of contention at 72 and 78. The Reds move up 1 spot, and the Blue Jays move up 4 spots from 24 to 20. Despite being 5-5 in their last 10, they've just been slightly better than all the other teams at 72 and 78. They've won 3 in a row. Tampa Bay at 19, St. Louis at 18 stays the same, and Boston at 17 also staying the same. They're not technically out of it yet, but Boston is essentially out of it. They're 4.5 back of the Twins with 12 games to play. Chicago Cubs, it's number 16. They dropped 2 spots. They are pretty much out of contention as well. At this point, they're 3 above 500. The Mets are 13 above 500. So the Cubs are 5 back, 5-5 in their last 10. They had that miracle little run with Taylor Swift and the Candle, but they're pretty much out of it. Seattle and Detroit are not. So here's where we get to the interesting thing. Detroit and Seattle are both 2.5 games back of the Twins. The Twins have the tiebreaker over both teams, though, so really they're 3.5 back. They have to pass the Twins. They can't just tie them. They have to pass them. But the Twins are giving them every opportunity to have hope, because the Twins at 79 and 70 are 4-6 in their last 10. Detroit and Seattle are both 7-3 in their last 10. I feel like one of these teams could get in over the Twins. I would still lean Minnesota, though. Braves and Mets at 11 and 12. They're currently tied for the last wildcard spot in the NL. The Mets were 7th last week. They dropped 4 spots after losing their 9-game winning streak. Still, though, they are tied with Atlanta for that wildcard spot. That's going to come down to the wire. Do they play each other? Oh my gosh, I hope they do. Can we look at the Braves' schedule? Who do the Braves have rest of the season? They get the Dodgers today in the 4th game of a 4-game set. Then they got the Reds, Marlins, and then, yes, the Mets, Royals. So the second to last series is Braves, Mets. That series likely determines who gets the last wildcard spot in the NL. Remember, last week we were talking, could the Mets catch Arizona? Could the Mets catch San Diego? Now they have to hold off the Braves. It's very close between those 2 teams. I think the Braves would still be more fun to watch in the playoffs than the Mets, but they will both be fun. Astros at 10, they move up 1 spot, 13 games above 500. They hold a 3.5 game lead, no, a 4.5 game lead over the Mariners in the West. They have just about clinched that division with 12 games to go. 5.5 back of the Yankees. So the Yankees, they're pretty much out of the number 1 seed mix at this point. Royals at 9, they move up 3 spots. They've had a nice week, 7-3 in their last 10, 82-68 overall. 5 games back of the Yankees, 4 back of the Guardians. So again, they're still technically alive for their division, but most likely they're going to be the number 2 wildcard team. Although they're now only 2 back of the Orioles. So all of a sudden, Baltimore could slip up, and if they do, the Royals could claim that number 4 seed, which would also give them, remember, number 4 seed gets to host a playoff series. The Orioles have to play the Twins, Yankees, Tigers, Giants. So that's not easy, right? That's not an easy schedule, because the Twins, Tigers, and Yankees all above 500 teams. So if Baltimore continues to struggle, the Royals could put themselves in play still for hosting a playoff series, which would be huge for them because they have been so much better at home than on the road. DBacks at number 8, they move up 1 spot at 83 and 66. 5-5 in their last 10, 7 back in the NL, 5 back of the Dodgers. Then we got the Orioles at number 7. They slipped to 7. This is about as low as they've been all season. But 3-7 in their last 10. They just lost a series to Detroit. They're 3 back of New York, so they're still alive in that division, and they still play the Yankees. So that series is going to be a huge one. Baltimore against the Yankees next week. That's going to be a massive series for playoff implications. Padres up to number 6. This is the highest they've been all year. At 85-65, they have officially reached the 20 games above 500 marker, and they are still only 3.5 games back of the Dodgers. Could they catch the Dodgers? I don't think so. But they're still technically alive in the division. I think if you're at 3, you're still alive, and they do play the Dodgers this week. So this is going to, or no, not this week. They play the Dodgers next week. So that series will pretty much decide whether they win the division or get a wild card, but they are pretty much locked into a wild card. They have a tough schedule, to be fair. They got 3 against Houston. The White Sox is easy, but then Dodgers and DBacks to close the season out. So they have 3 tough opponents, but if they can navigate those 3 tough opponents, they could definitely find themselves with that top wildcard spot, or potentially if they sweep the Dodgers, not likely but possible, they could win the division still. Guardians at 5, they remain at 5. They're a game back of the Yankees for the AL number 1 seed at 86-64. Brewers fall us 1 spot to 4th place at 23 over 500. Still, they ran away with the NL Central. Yankees, they now lead Baltimore by 3 games. They lead the Guardians by 1 for the number 1 seed. They are trying to clinch that number 1 seed. Aaron Judge, 53 home runs. They are 87-63. They move up a spot. Dodgers at number 2 remain at number 2, but the Yankees might catch them now. Dodgers are now 2 games back of the Phillies, and the Phillies, of course, at number 1. First team to 90 wins, the last team to 60 losses. The only team that is more than 30 games above 500, the Philadelphia Phillies, the number 1 seed in all of baseball and the number 1 team on my power rankings.